Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Studs Up, and this is a Lego medieval slash fantasy army update. So I have been on a huge medieval slash fantasy kind of realm esque kick recently, getting a bunch of castles and knights and orcs and dwarves and all sorts of stuff. And I did a video not too long ago, probably about a year ago by now, about what it used to look like. And now I'm coming back at it with a bigger, better, and more powerful army. This is not everything. This is only a little bit. I still have my Lions Knights castle still fully fortified with the troops. I did not take any out of this for this video as I still have it fully fortified. And it is also not all of my peasants or all of my classic era castle stuff, as I still have quite a bit of body parts of these guys, so I didn't like fully build them. I just left the factions that I had built. And my peasant class, I still have like blacksmiths and stuff like that. I just did not count in the forester and the bardsman class, just because I didn't think it was worth it. Plus, I still have my skeletons and stuff, but that I don't think has changed at all, because I have not found it necessary to update those in the slightest. But let's dive right on into it. So we're going to start off over here with, of course, our brave, our Lion Knight faction. Of course, we have our king at the front here, a fully armored knight next to him is queen, this Valkyrie-esque knight, lady, warrior, I don't really know what I'll call her. This other kind of white knight behind her, and then the normal knight faction. This is a faction that I haven't grown a whole lot, and it's kind of stayed pretty stagnant on where it was last time, as I just haven't necessarily collected a whole bunch of them. I tend to focus on the Lion Knights behind them more than the Lion Knights here themselves, just because of what I have kind of gotten into here. But I still do love this faction. It is still very nostalgic to me, as this is the kind of castle line that I grew up with. Behind them, of course, we have our Lion Knights. So I actually have more of these guys on my way right now, so I can fill it out even more. Like I said, I have my full Lion Knight castle still filled with a lot of my Lion Knights. So I probably have about 15, 20 in there. So quite a bit more than are seen here. But this is probably my faction I want to grow the biggest. Purely for the fact that this is probably my favorite faction. I think it has the most stuff right now that you can do with it, as it goes with armor and weapons and gear, just because kind of that's what LEGO is producing, along with the Raven, or the Falcon Knights, of course. Sorry, not Raven. Falcon Knights. Probably I think my second biggest faction currently is, of course, the Falcon Knights. I got a whole bunch of the Raveners when they were out. Plus, I just picked up 5 more of the gunmetal armored ones too, as well, just to flesh out more. I definitely am not super happy, especially with my Falconer variety of the knights I have in here. I want to distinguish them more and make them a little more unique. I've just been struggling with how to do that. I also plan on fortifying a much more larger archer reserve for this army, as I have waiting for more quivers to arrive at the current date, but they are led by their leader here. Let's see here. That guy there. So he is their leader of this faction. In front of them, we have the Dragon Knights led by the wizard and his assassin apprentice, almost. I don't know what they are. Another faction hasn't grown a whole lot recently. A lot of these guys are from the chess set, plus a couple other castle sets I have gotten. One that I like a lot. I love that dark green color scheme they have going on, and just that very much evil essence that they have about them that just, they mean business, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it, and I love that about this faction, and it's definitely one I hope to grow a little bit more in the future, and definitely maybe even pick up a couple more of their sets. To the right of them, I have the Orc faction. So this is a mix of the brand new Orc minifigure, slash, I don't know, I've been considering them orcs, but it could be also a troll. I tend to consider trolls to be a little bit bigger, but these guys are considered trolls. These guys are more considered orcs by LEGO, but I kind of grouped them all together as just different variety depending on types of things. But I've been trying to give these guys some armor distinctions, some different hairstyles, and that's definitely a work in progress, as I don't want them all to be the same. I only have my kind of berserker orcs have the capes. Everyone else does not. As you know, that's just how it is. But I do plan on getting them some different variety in their outfits and kind of what they're doing in the future. But this is, I don't think it'll grow anymore. I don't have any plans on expanding this any future, at least this segment of it. I do plan on expanding these segments of it and definitely picking up more of the trolls that were from the Ninjago. These guys work perfectly with these guys. You know, they have like the same skin tone, very much similar designs, and they just work really well. So I plan on picking definitely up some more of these guys very soon. The biggest thing, I have a lot of their pieces, but the dark brown on them tends to be very fragile, along with their arms. It's just that old Lego plastic that was very brittle and broke easily, so that is not great. Classic Castle faction has definitely changed a little bit, so I have a lot of the classic. I have 6 of the classic Falcon Knights and quite a bit of the Crusaders. And I have a couple of the... Well, actually, no. So they're Crusader / Lion Knights. As you know how the classic castle stuff are, it's very interchangeable. I have converted these guys to be Lion Knights. As you see, their classic torsos. I picked up a classic Lion Knight castle set, which I was very excited to find at a Bricks Minifig store in my area. Oh, not actually in my area. I had to drive for it, but it was very cool to find. I got a very good deal on it because the base plate was broken, but I had a base plate at home that wasn't, or was less, it was slightly broken, but less broken, so I was able to get a good deal on that. In front of them, Wolfpack. Very nostalgic for these guys. I love the classic Wolfpack guys. Definitely one that if I'm able to pick some more up in a cheap quantity, or not quantity, but a cheap variety of them, or a cheap price for them, I definitely will. But it's one that they are very expensive if you do come across them, as they are pretty coveted. Next to them, in front there, we have the Scorpion Knights. These are, I think, one of my most recent pickups for at least the Castle faction here. I never had any of them. I saw these guys for a pretty good price, and I picked 3 of them up here. Raise his helmet up there. You see him down there. A unique one. I do not have any of the knights, the good guy knights that go with us. I forget their names, but you know, they're like the the Infinity Stones of Night. They're all different color. They all have different powers, right? But I don't have any of those guys, nor do I really plan on it. But I do love the Scorpion Knights. They're just another great evil faction that goes perfectly in an environment, you know, maybe a more deserty environment type like that. So I definitely plan on picking some more of those guys up in the future. Behind them, we have the Crown King Knights, I think. I don't know what they are. On the left there, and on the right, we have, of course, another Dragon faction. This one, you know, wasn't a wave that I was too heavily into when it came out. I just kind of flew right by, right? I think everyone kind of missed it. You blink too fast, you missed it. I like the armor of both of these factions, and it's definitely one I would like to get to more of. But once again, it's just not something that I'm necessarily focusing on currently. Unlike the faction next to it, the Crown Knights here, I think that's what they're called, the King's Knight or what, from the fantasy era. I love these guys. I love that almost royal blue, I think I would consider it, color on their armor. And this is definitely a faction that I have been trying to grow. It's one that I would love to get some more of in the future. Speaking of the fantasy era stuff, down below, of course, we're going to jump back over here to the dwarves. This is one I actually recently picked up 2 more dwarves for, to more flush out the army, and it's definitely one that I would like to get a lot more for. A lot more variety for my dwarven army. Dwarves are a faction of magical creatures that I think are super fun. And it's definitely one that I want to expand more. I wish that the Hobbit sets were cheaper, because I'd get a bunch of those dwarves and convert them into dwarves for my army. But of course, you know, as we know, they are very expensive. And the fantasy stuff is expensive too when you find it. And so getting a lot of these dwarven people is pretty hard. You know, but I would love to get like that dwarven mindset or something like that. But definitely one I'm trying to slowly grow and build more of. I am very picky, though, when it comes to my dwarves and what they look like. And I have a difficulty just putting, like, short legs on a knight and calling him a dwarf. You know what I mean? So that can be difficult. Next to it, or not next, yeah, kind of, you know, we'll count it. Forestmen! This is one, when on Lego Bricks and Pieces, and I purchased a whole bunch of the Forestmen, the modern Forestmen, just to flush out. You know, I have 12 or 13 counting her in the back there. Forest men slash woman, as it is. I have a classic one there, kind of right in the middle there. You see him there. And yeah, so this is one that I think I don't have any plans on expanding too much into the future. And I'm pretty happy on kind of the numbers I have currently, but it's definitely one that I love a lot. The Forestmen are super cool, and I'm super happy they were brought back and have just a whole bunch of different things they can be doing in the fantasy era and fantasy realm. And of course, in front of them, I have the bards. I love the bards. They're so cool. I love their color scheme. I love their outfits and their get up, and I think they're very unique. Like the Forestmen in kind of the settings they can be placed in and around a medieval slash fantasy era environment. Next to them, I have some peasants, just some random peasants, some traveling merchants, whatever you want. Like I said, I have some more blacksmiths and other esque types of peasants and people, but it's not something I am entirely would call ready to plate up and put on the base plate. But that is a quick, quick, I say that, but it's been like 10 minutes. But overview of my current knight faction. Like I said, I don't have any of my Vikings or Berserkers out here now, as that's something I plan on growing very soon. I probably will do a video soon on like the castles and the stuff like that, because like I said, I've been on a medieval kick, a fantasy kick recently, and it's been a blast to collect this stuff. Not a blast for your wallet, as you guys know. This stuff can be pricey, but it's definitely fun to get it back into after all these years. And once again, we would love Lego. Come on. Do a full-line castle theme. Come on now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll hope you enjoyed this quick little overview, and I'll see you in the next video. Studs out.